thinking about some girls. Pretty sure I never knew what to.
And then there was Jiang Zemin. Born in 1926, Zemin lived under the very worst days of Mao and the Gang of Four.
Vivid and terrible are the scenes in the famine areas of China today, with starvation following the ravages of 9 years of war.
Renaming buildings and streets, destroying cultural sites, and violently humiliating and often torturing and murdering anyone they accused of opposing Mao's ideas.
Following his college graduation, he joined the party and received training at that well-known manufacturer of cars and wheels and some suspension, the Stalin Automobile Works. He returned to China in 1962, took up various academic positions, and between 1970 and 72, he was sent to Romania as an expert in making things. Probably cars. By 1985, he was the mayor of Shanghai, which, as we all know, is the very stepping stone to chairman of the party. And that did, in fact, happen in 1987.
I'm the chairman of the board.
He became general secretary, replacing Zhao Zemin in 1989. After the terrible massacre of Tiananmen Square.
The troops have been firing indiscriminately, but still, there are thousands of people on the streets who will not move back.
Or slight fracas, as it's known in Chinese government circles.
Back, the Communist Party of China celebrated its centenary with a spectacular ceremony held at Tiananmen Square in Beijing, where Chinese President and General Secretary of the party, Xi Jinping, stressed...
A sort of compromise candidate, his vision for China was spurred on by CCP Congress members like Deng Xiaoping to redefine the Chinese government's vision for economic expansion. Introducing the catchy, if mildly oxymoron-like term, socialist market economy.
We want to learn from the West about science and technology and how to manage the economy. But this must be combined with specific conditions here. That's how we have made great progress in the last 20 years.
Zemin and his colleagues recognized that the overall improvement in living standards and material possessions might assuage a population who had never really experienced democracy in the Western sense.
So we're looking for a compromise candidate.
Malleable,
Flexible, likable, no firm opinion.
no bright ideas,
Not intellectually committed.
without the strength of purpose to change anything.
Someone who you know...
From desiring an end to the hegemonic rule of the CCP, in exchange for a perceived abundance in life's little luxuries, and avoid the kind of collapse that another exponent of Marxist doctrine was undergoing just a few doors down. From this point onwards, economic dominance was the goal.
Windy has all the help he needs. Mr. Cresswell has sent him some factory workers as well as some sugar.
Instead of hackneyed stuff about common ownership of the means of production,
Collective childhood and factory manhood.
Oh, sounds fun.
Yeah, very descriptive. It's all about how they run factories in a workers' state. However, I won't spoil it for you.
the party dedicated itself to assisting, financing, subsidising and occasionally creating companies that would create cheap electronic goods and the like, all the time taking notes and, well, let's face it, avoiding that tricky copyright stuff. Galileo, by getting soft-bellied Westerners to take advantage of cheap and easy supply chains.
There's a confusion about China that, and let me at least give you my opinion. The popular conception is that companies come to China because of low labor cost.
We're buying you out.
What?
With a view to later on out-designing and out-manufacturing the very same soft-bellied, or in the case of Trump, rock-hard-brained.
Say, I am Raymond Holt and my brain is rock-hard.
My brain shouldn't be hard. If anything, I'll say I am Raymond Holt and my brain is soft and wet.
Who would eventually use all his limited wiles to get them to source crappy MAGA tat sold to his cult followers for exorbitant prices.
So it should say Trump.
Should say Trump.
Instead,
it says rump.
She has a $640 rump watch.
All the time blathering on about increasing manufacturing in the good old, or just slightly old, USA.
Joe Biden's agenda is
Made in China. My agenda is made in the USA.
Even though it's really much more expensive to do that kind of thing there.
I dreamt China's hope might rest upon the sun.
Like his successor, old Jiang and his smart, if incredibly compliant colleagues have advanced the Chinese Communist Party's cause, at the expense of a few homegrown human rights abuses.
China used to deny it was holding hundreds of thousands of Muslims in giant secure facilities like this one. But now we're being given a tour. The message: these people are not prisoners, but students, willingly subjecting themselves to a kind of brainwashing.
Occasional bellicose rhetoric, disputed territory by any other name, and inroads into Africa and other parts of the Asian subcontinent by slightly dodgy and slightly aggressive overinvestment in Belt and Road initiatives.
What's that have to do with the forum?
Well, a few years ago, China's president Xi Jinping proposed making new routes like the old routes, but even bigger.
While a certain orange moron continues to drag his country downwards with ultra-nationalist drivel backed up by unsustainable debt.
I know how to solve the problems of inflation, giving rich people their money back.
If the publicly held debt goes above roughly 175% of GDP, things get pretty hard at that point, and 200% is really the drop dead limit. And the reason why is once you hit that limit, you couldn't possibly raise taxes enough at that point to meet the interest payments.
And there we go, we come to the end of our little wander down some seminal bits of today.
Well, that's the end of the film. Now here's the meaning of life.
Unwittingly manufactured back in them good old days.
We sing happy